Hello everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman, and this is This Week in Lionheart. On Wednesday night, we ran the season opener of the 2021 Lionheart IndyCar Series at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Here is a 30-second recap. The 2021 season kicked off Wednesday with a 200-mile race at Homestead. Brian Beard led the 40-car field to green while defending series champion Adam Blocker started back in 18th. The first half of the race saw the yellow fly 4 times, including once on lap 20 for a multi-car incident involving championship hopefuls Andrew Kinsella and Sage Karam. By lap 58, Adam Blocker had made his way to the front, but his win wasn't without peril as he had to avoid a race-ending caution with less than 5 laps to go when several lapped cars tangled in front of him. I am now joined by my boss, in a way, the head of the Sim Racing Merch esports team, James Krahula, who finished in 12th place. And James, I think we got off to a solid start this season.
We did great. We did exactly where we thought we were going to place. Got to work on typically we're awesome on strategy. We were a little off this week, but we showed a lot of speed, and especially, you coming out there and doing a good job. Ricky, first time back in the IndyCar series here in a few seasons. I think that we're off to a good start for the Sim Racing Merch esports team.
I went into Homestead thinking I just want to survive this race. And not because Homestead is notoriously a difficult track. It's not. There's different racing lines, it's open, but it's always the first round of the season. And with it, that means there's a lot of new faces, which normally leads to a bit of carnage. However, this year was a major exception that the wrecks were being caused by the old folks, the new guys.
I know the veterans. They should know better.
The new guys showed up and they'd done their homework. 3 rookies finishing in the top 10. Jason Brophy got 3rd place, Henry Bennett got 4th position, and Nunez got 9th. Now, James, I know you like to race the IndyCar over in the official series. Are those names that you've encountered in the past over there?
It is. I think I've seen Nunez a few times before, but mostly the name that I do notice above all is going to be the private label Team Hype. I've gotten to chat with the guy that runs that series, and he just came in with full force. Middle of last year, hired some really big names, had some really good guys with like Richard Reagan doing really well on the stock car side. And I mean, that's the big thing for me is, grabbing a big name there with Connor Harrington, who's done extremely well the last few seasons. And then again, bringing in Jason Brophy as well. So I think that, the rookies, yeah, that's great. But, Team Hype coming in, that's a big thing for the series as well. And they showed up.
You mentioned Connor Harrington, a driver who could definitely fight for the championship. Adam Blocker, of course, is a 3-time defending champion. He won the race. The 2 championship hopefuls that got their seasons off to a bad start are Sage Karam and Andrew Kinsella. Although a shout out for Sage, he did end up winning the Retro Series race on Thursday night.
Yeah, no, that's first race of the season. It's a lot of time to recover, but it's still not good to know that your main title contender went out there and got the job done and won the race with Adam Blocker. He's not showing any signs of slowing down this year, and we know exactly how heated that Adam Blocker and Sage Karam get, and then Andrew Kinsella as well with that group. Those 3 right there, they race each other hard. There is a lot of tension when those cars are around each other on the track. And it cannot feel good to, have 2 of them out and watching, the guy that they know they're going to be fighting for all year, winning the race. It's off to, it's not good to start your year off in the hole, but a lot that can still happen this season. It is the first race, but, Adam Blocker just carrying his momentum from the last few years with the Homestead win.
Yes, and I think that's a concern for not only the championship contenders, but everyone in the league that Adam Blocker went out and won the season opener. Kind of gives us an idea that, yeah, he's going to be the one to beat. Although, as I mentioned during the race spot coverage, there is a chance he might not necessarily be at all of the races because of real world IndyCar commitments. He works on the engine side over there. But let's talk about race spots coverage because, James, both you and
Mhm.
I have done coverage for the Global Sim Racing channel. We both obviously have a bit of a vested interest. We're involved in the broadcasting side of things. And, it's not good or bad news that Lionheart went from GSRC to Race Spot. It's news. Series changed from broadcast partners one time or another. That being said, I was slightly concerned at how well are Race Spot going to cover this because it's a difficult series to cover as far as series go.
Mhm.
George Anzaldo, the league admin, has done a great job of bringing sponsors on, but of course that makes it a little bit of a headache for the broadcasters at times. They need to make sure they get all those sponsored segments out there, and also you're dealing with cars that can go 240 miles an hour, so a lot can happen in a very short amount of time. And there's 42 of us on the roster, but Race Spot knocked it out of the park.
Oh, absolutely. And again, to give you an idea of the type of pressure that this new series can come in, GSRC has covered, Lionheart since its inaugural race that they had broadcasted multiple years ago. It's a long relationship, and they kind of had a groove and everything down. It's very familiar territory. We come into Race Spot, brand new series, and George Anzaldo has a media guide that is longer than a CVS receipt. It is a long it is a very long document with a lot of detail, a lot of sponsors that George expects from these broadcast partners. But Arjun and Justin Prince, I mean, no shock there. Those guys absolutely nailed it. And Justin Prince started, I saw him on one of his first broadcasts and everything. He's come such a far way. He does his research. He was asking me tons of questions before the race. He had them written all down. These guys do their homework, and it absolutely showed. It was a fantastic broadcast, and that's why they're absolutely Race Spot's one of the top broadcasting companies, in iRacing, and that's exactly why they're in that position that they're at right now. They did a fantastic job. Next race is going to be at Long Beach. It's going to be our second time that we're racing on a street course. Only other street course in the sim is, of course, Detroit, where they ran the double headers, a few seasons ago. And Long Beach is, in my opinion, a much more treacherous course than what we have over in Detroit. And especially the start with the hairpin, it's going to be very, very interesting, especially with 42 cars taking the start. New territory for everyone. I'm glad that we have 3 weeks to get a lot of practice time in, because I think that we're all going to need it. But also, it's a special race. Long Beach is, as far as the road side of things. We have the Indy 500 that's stands out on its own, but on the road course side, Long Beach is a special race, and we've been missing that in this IndyCar series that is top tier, by far the biggest Indy racing series on iRacing, and it felt like there was always a hole missing, not having Long Beach, but we finally have it. So that part, I'm really looking forward to it. We'll see how I actually feel if I'm able to make it through the race.
All right, here we go then. Let's do a lap of Long Beach. We're accelerating through the only part of the track where you can really open the car up. I'm looking at the 400 on the right, the second board, hard brake in first gear. All right, now we're coming up to the famed fountain corner, also first gear turn. Pretty much just assume that every corner around here is first gear. This isn't the setup we're going to be racing, or the track conditions at all. And notice I am wearing the primary compound tyres. This will be the first ever time in Lionheart history that we will have a tyre choice. Whatever tyres you qualify on and set your best lap, those are the tyres that you'll have to start the race with. However, you do have to do 2 laps on both compounds of tyres. So we've worked our way through the infield section. Here's another place where you can open the car up a little bit. And now we're coming into this final complex of corners. So it starts with the right, easy enough. But then we go into this like carousel corner. And then the hairpin. Locking up, getting the car stopped, never getting it stopped enough. I've got 3 weeks to figure out how to pull that off. Hope you all join us in a few weeks' time for our next Lionheart IndyCar Series race at Long Beach. Have a good day, everyone.